Independent, locally owned New Orleans bookstore, Octavia Books, offers author events, book signings, and hand-picked titles for all ages. OctaviaBooks.com.
Criollo Restaurant offers a culinary adventure prepared by a tiny animated French chef. A 5-course dinner experience comes to life at each place setting using projection mapping. Located in the historic Hotel Monteleone. Learn more at criollonola.com.
This program is supported in part by a community arts grant made possible by the City of New Orleans as administered by Arts New Orleans.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org.
Support for this program comes from the Gail and Tom Benson Charitable Foundation, committed to funding educational causes.
Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
From jazz to jambalaya, theater to galleries.
Steppin Out brings you the best of our local arts and culture scene each week.
Let's step up and step out. Together, keeping WYES strong.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out in our 40th season with updates on local restaurant, arts, and entertainment. Joining me, Toya Boudy, author of the brand new cookbook, Cooking from Scratch, a careful selection of useful recipes. Great title. Great title. Yeah. Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hello, Miss Poppy. Hello. Leslie Carde, she's back. Hollywood South columnist for the Times-Picayune, the New Orleans Advocate. Welcome. Hello.
Thank you.
And he's back from Broadway. Alan Smason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and theatercriticism.com. Poppy, you've got tales to tell.
Yes, you know, people think that the summertime means New Orleans is dead. I've got so much stuff to tell you that's happening, and I want to remind everybody, Tales of the Cocktail is coming the 3rd week of July. Yay. But the tickets have just gone on sale, and those tickets sell out so fast. The tasting room tickets, the seminar tickets. So if you're a Tales fan, now is the time to head to your computer and look and see what you want to do there this year. It is always so much fun. And then the New Orleans Wine and Food Experience is happening now with, of course, the Tournament of Roses and Saturday, the Grand Tasting. And I want to remind everybody that, yes, it's a grand wine tasting, but it is a grand food tasting. There's always been a big competition on best dish, and everybody really puts out their yummiest, and it's so much fun. A distinction this week was received by Good Catch Urban Bistro, one of my favorite restaurants for Thai food. And I just love that Chef Sistrak, and she has received the Thai Select certification. Now, this is for fine dining, high quality and authentic food and hospitality. It is an award that's given out by the Department of International Trade in Bangkok. So that's not an award that's coming from within the United States. That gives you an idea of how good her Thai food really is.
She's truly fit to be tied.
Oh, Alan. Now, another award winner, Vessel, such a beautiful place over there in Mid-City. They just won the TripAdvisor's Best of the Year Unique Restaurants in the World. So, congratulations, and they are pretty unique and haunted, too.
Former beautiful church.
Yes, used to be Christian's Restaurant. And something so much fun that's going to happen next Tuesday. And the tickets sell out like this, so pay attention. There's a Rosedale wine pairing dinner with winemaker Matthew Rorick. Now, doesn't that look like it's going to be a good time? And he is from Forlorn Hope Winery in the Sierra Foothills. And so that's next Tuesday, the 16th at 6:30. His wines, he makes them low intervention, no chemicals, additives, using off-the-beaten-track varieties. And there's 5 wines they're showcasing that night, a white, a rosé, an orange wine, and 2 light reds, and of course, with the delicious food to highlight the wines. And my pick of the week, it's still Restaurant Week. It's this week.
Yeah,
so
deal.
great dining deals all over the city. Antoine's 2-course brunch, $36, 2-course lunch, $25, and 3-course dinner for $56 at Antoine's. So check out the deals.
Thank you so much. And moving on to Toya. And Toya, this brand new cookbook.
Yeah.
Wow. It's gorgeous. All of the
Thank
great
you.
photos. And as we speak, we're going to go through some of the photos of some of your favorite dishes. But you'll be very busy at Whitney Plantation, too, Saturday, huh?
Oh, yeah, their Juneteenth celebration. I have a demonstration. I'll actually be the first woman to cook in the enslaved cooking quarters since they've been redone. So, you know, since slavery's been abolished and stuff, so I'm really excited about that. That's a little piece of history that I'm happy that my kids get to see and that my parents are going to be able to hear about.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a real honor.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Look at this cover.
Man, ain't it something?
Yeah. No.
I finally, you know,
100 photographs. Look at those photos.
oh man, and all of the
And
backgrounds I
yucca
made
is not
myself.
misspelled. That's it's a different thing, isn't it? Let's
Yucca.
point that at. Yes, yucca, rather. But as opposed to YUCCA, it's 2 different things.
Yeah, that's my favorite Cuban dish right there. The pork, the congri, the yuca with the mojo. Man, it's rolling like it got wheels.
Okay. Immunity soup. Tell us about that.
Man, now the immunity soup is loaded with vegetables, mushrooms, wild mushrooms, turmeric, anything you could think of that's healthy, but it tastes so, so good. So when we were styling that, I have this thing that I do when I'm doing the cookbooks. I have a list of people that I say, hey, look, I'm going to text you, and you have to be to my house at a certain time, or I'm throwing it away. Because we've been styling it because I do my recipes. I hold a tight schedule. So I'll do 8 to 10 recipes between the hours of 10 and 3 every day. So we can batch everything because, you know, I'm a parent. I'm still doing stuff. So I want to get it done as fast as possible. So that was one of the dishes that I handed out to people. They popped it in their freezer. But every time somebody got sick, they pulled it out. And they immediately was like, this was so good. I felt so much
So it's
better.
therapeutic. I love that.
Man. Yeah, man, you can eat your way to good health.
Hey, good news. Then you also have oyster stew and crawfish pies. Love that. Yeah, the styling in this book is.
Thank you. I made the backgrounds myself, all of them. I'm an abstract artist too, so I wanted to notice all the plates are like avant-garde, like very interesting style plates. I have some plates that look like porcelain pillows, you know, like it's really cool. I really wanted to stretch myself as, you know, food styling and stuff like that. But then I also, you notice inside of the book, there's more pictures of my hands in the book. And if you do see me, it's like 2 photos of me without makeup because I wanted it to have a true, you know, from scratch feel.
Wow.
So people could see what you can do with your hands.
Well, so you're going to be actually at this special event, which is free, but you have to register.
Yeah.
At 10 a.m. you're doing a tasting, and at 1 you're going to talk about the book.
Yep, that's the book talk in the Antioch Church.
Yeah, and so what are you going to make? What are you going to cook? You know,
The meal inside of the house that I'm cooking that one early that morning is going to be an offering. I'm going to do traditional things like okra. You know how making like a gumbo from scratch. You know, the first gumbo wasn't done with the roux. You know, so I'm doing that old school gumbo, and I'm going to submit that to an offering by the statues and stuff like that. And I'm going to already have pre-made the chicken and sausage gumbo and collard greens and cornbread, so they can taste it and see what, you know, the gumbo has adapted to, you know, what it is now, and then talk about the rations and stuff like that as well.
we should also mention your website.
Oh, yeah, ToyaBoudy.com.
Yeah, for B-O-U-D-Y.
B-O-U-D-Y. And I love that you pronounced it right.
I tried. Miss Poppy
that
helped
made
me
me
with that.
Well, you know, that Toya, she is a homegrown treasure. We are lucky to
Thank
have
you,
New
Poppy.
Orleanians like Toya.
And you're
Thank you,
traveling
Poppy.
around too. You were on the Today Show a few times.
Yeah,
huh?
I've been on the Today Show over at this
Oh, yeah.
point over
Oh, yeah.
5 times. But you know, Food Network, TLC. I did about 5 years contributing at the Hallmark Channel. After I won Best Home Cook there, and a bunch of other places. But the book tour is taking off the 15th. So I have the Whitney Plantation event on the 13th, the Saturday. Then Sunday there's the Community Book Center event. I'm going to be doing that, and then I fly out Monday morning, head to New York. Pub Day is at the Today Show.
Congratulations.
And an event in Brooklyn, and I hop over to like 7 cities back
So
to
what
back.
do you know what day you're going to be on the Today Show? Or
Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay. I love this. Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
We were talking about neighborhoods. You grew up in Terrytown?
Yeah, man. Listen, when she said she drove through there, I
did.
said, "Girl, for what?"
Going to the
Girl, why
base,
would you
the
do that?
base. Yeah, but I was surprised how many sort of mom and pop restaurants there are in that
Yeah,
area. I
there's
don't
a
think
lot
people
of 'em.
realize that. You know?
No, I mean, a lot of people don't go to the West Bank like that. So.
Yeah. You know who used to live in the West Bank? This is a long time ago. Al Shea.
Oh.
He raised his family.
The best bank, right?
The best bank.
Best bank.
Absolutely. Well, we're so glad you could be with us. Yay.
Thank you for having me.
Good news. And Miss Leslie, and it's nice to actually have news, huh?
It is nice to have news, yeah. And,
With the
and
movies.
speaking of homegrown treasures,
Yes.
We should be very proud of our local filmmakers because 4 of the 5 films I'm going to be talking about, all done by local people.
Wow.
But let's start out with the one that was done by a studio because that studio came here, they employed 12 local actors, which in this day and age is rare. It's called Is God Is, and it stars Sterling K. Brown and Vivica A. Fox, and 2 girls that play the daughters. It's a very complex story, but the bottom line is they are very disfigured from being in a fire, which they think was just a random house fire, but it turns out their father set the fire. So the mother then orders them to go kill the father. Anyway, it sounds like a Greek tragedy here, but very entertaining. It's still in theaters. It's only been there a couple of weeks at this point, but I just wanted to mention it because I think it's really important that we still get studio films here. Moving on to a film called Cowboy, which I fell in love with at the New Orleans Film Festival, and he's just been tapped to be at Rain Dance, which is, well, think of Sundance, but in Great Britain. But it's a big honor. It's a story that you think is a heist movie, but it turns out to be a love story. It's very unusual. Anyway, we have a clip, and I'd like to roll the clip.
Let's take a look at that clip.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
You two. You a problem. Thanks for loading the horses.
The man behind that, I should note, is Nate Grubbs. He wrote it, he directed it, and he stars in it. Yeah, talk about a triple threat. The next film is called Under the Lights, and it's coming here next week. It deals with the subject of epilepsy, which we would all think is a very serious subject, but he's turned it into almost a rom-com of sorts. It's heavy drama. It's now a feature film. We have a clip from the short film that preceded it by a couple of years. He then raised funds to turn it into a feature-length 2-hour movie. Anyway, take a look and then we'll
set it up for us. What's happening?
Yeah,
What's happening?
Sam, who's the lead, has just had a grand mal seizure. He's at prom, where he's not supposed to be because the lights trigger his epilepsy. So you'll see what happens. He wakes up in the girls' bathroom, and this is where it starts.
What? Stop! Oh, stop!
They'll call my mom.
Are you kidding me?
I'm really not supposed to be here.
the girls' bathroom. Imagine that.
At prom.
Miles Levin, who directed this, is taking it city by city across the United States. And next week on June 18th, it will be at the AMC Clearview Palace. I suggest everybody see it. It's like learning about something, but you're so entertained you don't realize it. So, good film. Next up is Time 2. I don't know if anybody ever saw Time, the original documentary. Right, a Fox Rich production. It's all about getting her husband out of Angola, who was sentenced to 60 years, and she worked tirelessly to get him released. Then we have Time 2, Unfinished Business, which is coming to Amazon Prime Video on Juneteenth, as a matter of fact. And I just sat down with them a couple of days ago. They're thrilled about having this because it's now the follow-up to Time, and you can see both of them if you turn on Amazon Prime. But fascinating stuff. They have a ball the night before at the New Orleans Jazz Museum to raise money for their foundation. Anyway, very entertaining movie. Last up, which you'll find really interesting, a movie called Georgetown 272, which is about a hidden piece of history that happened at Georgetown University when the Jesuit priests sold 272 slaves. That's the third largest slave trade in history. And all those slaves were moved down between Baton Rouge and New Orleans to the plantations in between. Anyway, we have a clip from that, which is pretty interesting.
The enslaved people who left Georgetown, they endured a Middle Passage, getting on a ship and surviving a month-long trip from Maryland all the way to the Deep South, the port of New Orleans. If you can imagine the horrors of the Middle Passage, it was a rough time. Being put on an auction block, being separated from all of the people they knew their entire lives and being sold to two gentlemen.
People behind that are Carl Van, who was the executive producer, Scott Zeisen, who is the co-EP, and Al Motor directed and wrote this film.
I have to tell you, he has done work for us here at WYES. Albert Moten Jr., I've known him for years, and to see him do this, I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
Yeah, and to think that it came to light in 2014, all
guy.
because a Georgetown student was doing some research
But
and ran into this
to Albert. Yeah,
Wow.
but thank you very much.
Yeah,
Great
absolutely.
overview. Wow. He's back from Broadway.
Broadway. This might have been really my most incredible tour of Broadway since 2019, before the pandemic, when I managed to see all 5 nominated shows for Best Musical. One of my first stops was, though, to see Sardi's, the famed eating and drinking location that will soon be closing for renovations because they've just been taken over by the Schubert Organization. Holding court over there, though, was New Orleans' own Tony-winning producer, Sue Vaccaro, and she was, of course, hoping to bring home a Tony as the producer of Two Strangers, Carry a Cake Across New York, which had won the, in other words, it appeared in London's West End with the Olivier Award winning actor who was in it, Sam Tutty. But Sue was playing host to me and dozens of others at Sardi's, and she wanted to make sure that I was introduced to Broadway legendary lyricist and director Richard Maltby, who, along with David Shire, wrote Baby, as well as Starting Here, Starting Now, Closer Than Ever, and About Time. That was the final jewel in their trilogy that opened this past spring. Well, the next day I went to see Sue's production of Two Strangers with my good friend and Tony Award winner Katie Huffman, and it was, after all, June the 6th, so I refer to it as KD Day. All right? Both of us love this two-hander. The first time a musical with only 2 people was nominated for a Tony since when? I Do, back in 1967. Tony nominee, of course, Sam Tutty, was nominated for his work as Best Actor. He won the Olivier, as I mentioned, in Dear Evan Hansen. He was brilliant as Ducal. And Christiane Pitts, who Katie and I saw together as Ann Darrow in King Kong a few years ago, was quite charming. It's a show that has humor and pathos with really clever lyrics and a book that you will not believe. When this tours, you will not want to miss this. I was also delighted to see that night our very own Palenko Jones Jr., again a New Orleanian, back on stage in the Celine Dion send-up of Titanic on the show that was the night before the Tonys. I waited to capture the shot of Palenko after the show. And as to the Tony Awards, I watched them at 54 Below, Peggy, and won 3 drink tickets. I have to tell you, I got 3 drink tickets for knowing my Broadway trivia. So now, how about that opening number? Did you see it with Pink? She definitely punched her card for Broadway, based on LaBelle's Lady Marmalade, which of course was originally produced and arranged by New Orleans' own Alan Toussaint with the meters. It's been covered, 25 years ago by Pink in the movie that was done by Baz Luhrmann, Moulin Rouge. Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, along with fellow Oscar winner Mark Sonnenblake, rewrote that entire opening number in just 6 days and retitled it Leading Lady Marmalade.
Wow.
Now, the big winners for the night, of course, were Best Musical, which to Schmickadoon, which, of course, after reviewing it last Friday night, I said it should win for Best Musical, and I was absolutely surprised and captivated to see that Kristen Chenoweth was sitting next to me. I also predicted on this show 2 weeks ago that Ragtime would easily win for Best Revival. Of course, it did stand a little bit of a challenge from Cats the Jellicle Ball. I also predicted that Liberation would win for Best Play, which it did. Here's a picture I took of playwright Bess Wohl before she received the Pulitzer Prize for Drama as well. Meanwhile, I have to tell you, the Irish repertory had a concert version with a number of Broadway stars, including Norbert Leo Butz, Lou Diamond Phillips, and F. Murray Abraham. But my 2 favorite Elizas of the night were my Broadway friends Melissa Errico, who I believe is the greatest female interpreter of Stephen Sondheim, and, of course, the beautiful and talented Julie Benko, who I saw do the entire role last summer in Aspen, Colorado. Both were magnificent, and Julie doing an excellent show week she did, and Melissa did Without You. However, at the very end, F. Murray Abraham, who was the last actor to play Henry Higgins that night, used the last line, instead of substituting devil for a little bit of a profanity, instead of where the devil are my slippers, he slipped in a little word he should not have, ending the night with a bit of saucy flavor. And speaking of saucy, I was in the Eugene O'Neill Theater on Tuesday night for the opening night of Mystery Mormon Week, when both Andrew Reynolds and Josh Gad came back to appear at times as Elders Price and Cunningham, reprising their roles from 15 years ago. Also on stage that night, Rory O'Malley, Tony winner Nikki M. James. I had the 2 current stars sign my CD, as well as Rory, Nikki, Andrew, and of course my best friend Josh there, Josh Gad, who I've known now for 14 years, just seeing him on Broadway. And as to Broadway and the local stage, I will be seeing Once, which won the Best Tony 14 years ago. It stars Patrick Reagan. You want to see that. And also new to the Canoa stage, that's the Caribbean and New Orleans Arts, will be Fat Squirrels productions of Miss Julie and Venus and Fur, 2 shows in one night. You can check that out. Again, I have one last thing, Peggy. That's my pick. In the interest of transparency, I wanted to let everyone know that one of my California cousins, I guess Leslie, one of yours too, David Coburn, is a co-producer of the August Wilson play, Joe Turner's Come and Gone at the Barrymore, starring Cedric the Entertainer and Taraji B. Henson. It's a marvelous production. There he is himself, Cedric the Entertainer. He seemed to enjoy the fact it was from New Orleans, and I'll see you at the theater.
Okay, and I know Miss Julie and Venus and Fur is coming up too.
Yeah, I did mention that earlier. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
All good. All right, very good. And our next season of Good Taste Dinner, benefiting WYES, will be held at Gautro's Restaurant. Here's Dana Hansel with the scoop.
Hi, I'm Dana Hansel with WYES with Season of Good Taste here at Gautro's, and I have the pleasure to be with the executive chef, Rob Mistry. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Gautro's.
Well, it is a hidden gem up here in uptown New Orleans on Sognette Street. It's just wonderful. And next door is Avignon, which is a Parisian-style lounge where you can get a good bite and a nice drink. But we're here to talk tonight about what you're preparing on June 25th.
Yeah, so for our WYES dinner, we've really tried to present a menu that highlights the transition from spring to summer. So a couple of things we're really excited about are our lamb strip loin dish, because we've developed a really great relationship with farmer Alan Snelling from White Sands Home Place in Mississippi. So we're going to be bringing in one of his whole lambs and serving various parts of that and showing off that beautiful product. And then another classic to kind of top it off and welcome everybody into the summer is our mango icebox pie.
Oh.
Super tropical, super refreshing. Just that kind of sweet and chilly note to get you out on a hot summer's night.
Well, it sounds delicious. You get 4 wine pairings with the 4 different items. So
We're extremely excited about that. Our sommelier, Ross Barlow, has put together an excellent pairing. We both did a lot of tasting, and we're pretty confident in this one.
Yeah, and then at the front of the house, you have Katie Adams, who is also bringing her touch to the Gautreaux.
Yep, she'll be there welcoming everybody in, the uber talented Katie Adams. Gotta give a shout out.
Well, tickets sell fast, so please go to wyes.org/events and get your tickets. And I want to say thank you for supporting WYES, and thank you, Chef.
Thank you very much.
Okay, wyes.org/events, still available. And once again, really big thanks to Gautreaux. We're so fortunate to have them. And now my picks on Saturday. The art of the late Louis St. Louis will be on view starting at 6 p.m. at the Farrington Smith Gallery. That's on St. Claude. His mixed media collages steeped in history and mythology are nationally acclaimed, especially by Andy Warhol, the late, great Andy Warhol. Also starting at 6 p.m. is the Pride Parade, beginning and ending at North Rampart and Dumaine. For a map, go to NewOrleansCommunityPride.org or NOLA.com. The parade does include part of Royal from Esplanade to St. Louis. It's always a good place to see it. And so glad to hear that Tremaize St. Augustine Catholic Church has reopened inside the church itself for Mass, Sundays at 10 a.m. It's rockin'. The church is known for its gospel jazz choir. I'm very excited about that good news. It took a long time. Hurricane Ida.
Yeah.
From Hurricane Ida. Anyway, great to see you all. Thank you so much, and thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
From jazz to jambalaya, theater to galleries.
Steppin Out brings you the best of our local arts and culture scene each week.
Let's step up and step out. Together, keeping WYES strong.
Support for this program comes from the Gail and Tom Benson Charitable Foundation, committed to funding educational causes.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org.
This program is supported in part by a community arts grant made possible by the City of New Orleans as administered by Arts New Orleans.
Criollo Restaurant offers a culinary adventure prepared by a tiny animated French chef. A 5-course dinner experience comes to life at each place setting using projection mapping. Located in the historic Hotel Monteleone. Learn more at criollonola.com.
Independent, locally owned New Orleans bookstore, Octavia Books, offers author events, book signings, and hand-picked titles for all ages. OctaviaBooks.com.